Hey yo, what's up? You know what it is. It's the one and the only, the triple, the G.O.D. I'd like to welcome you guys back to another in-stab at a triple the guy speaks on it. Yo, back in the LAB, man, cooking up some work. And while I was cooking up this work, I happened to run into something that I have been looking forward to, and it came quicker than I thought. And I got to shout out my folks, CPS_IV on YouTube, for putting up this Fighting EX layer work, because given what I've understood, I don't think Arika still have a name for it, or trying to steal what they want to do with it. But given what it was that I saw and what it is that has been improved since the last time we saw it, like for real, it's like, yo, this thing is looking like the monstrous beast that we always knew and believed it was. But I won't be long though, because there are some things that you should know about. The major thing that has changed from the build that you saw a couple months ago and the build that is EVO this weekend, they took out side steps. I have no idea why they took out side steps, but side steps are gone. I'm sitting up here because when I initially gave my little mini analysis of what it was that I saw in that initial trailer, and what I saw also in the gameplay footage that we ultimately got, is that side steps in a game like this are wonderful for, mainly dealing with slow pokes and fireballs, which are technically the same thing, because, well, not the same thing, but the same thing, because a fireball is indeed, and depending on its offensive use, can be treated as a poke. You have buttons that aren't as fast, so a quick sidestep would allow an opponent to punish you if you make dumb mistakes like that. So hopefully they come back around and add that sidestep, because play fighting layer. Just do that. Play fighting layer, and using the sidesteps in that game will help you to understand why this game needs it, and how that is just an additional part of the meta. That, again, like I said, that the game could, given what I watched and what I saw, that the game could surely use, but in a way that makes sense for the type of game that they're trying to make and the speed they're trying to go at it. Now, the big thing that is a part of this build that says EVO is the G.O.D system. And the G.O.D system, if you really want to think about it, is just gems from Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but formulated in a way that makes sense, and seemingly enough, given the way that they are currently implemented, balanced in a way that allows you to expand your meta with the character that you selected. Because I've said this before, I'm one of the people who says that gems were fine. It's just that right place, wrong mindset, wrong forward movement on said mindset is how I think about gems and cross second, because things got nuts. And we don't really need to tell a story about fancy gems, because I know a person, well, a pony, her name's Ready, but we'll get into that. Look, gems were fine, they just weren't executed in a way that caught on. I, however, think, given all the footage that I watched, the G.O.D system is amazing because of the different decks that they had. Now, given the wording of the picture I'm looking at, and shout out to Nerd Josh for taking these pictures and putting them up on the Twitters for everybody to see, is that there are 5 different decks that they have defaultly selected, and their wording seems like that if the game is to proceed forward, is that the G.O.D system will be, well, you can select this, and this, instead of being confined to a deck select or a loadout in this case, because is that each one of the 5 decks that they have revolves around like a major, like, additional gameplay function that flows into the rest of them. Because the first one is Juggernaut. It's like once you take 300 points of damage, you get super armor. So because games right now are being contested in best 3 out of 5, you will take 300 points of damage in no time. You will take 300 points of damage in an instance where that could ultimately be usable, but then you'd have to also take 300 points of damage. You know what I'm saying? It's like also in that same deck in Juggernaut is that hard attacks become guard breaks. Now, heart attacks in fighting layer stun, right? A guard break would then break a guard, so it's just an extension of that, but you have to perform for them. Heart attacks have very insane startup, and I mean insane startup is that in the frame of one frame being 1 second being 60 frames. I can't talk right now. Instead of 1 second being 60 frames, heart attacks are a lot of frames. So you would have to like plan your complete offense around it. And I love that as we go through the different decks, is that this makes you think about the character you play differently, because you are going to want to not only play to the strength of your character, but play to the strength of the deck that you select, or ultimately when this game comes out, because I'm going to speak positivity and not if, when this game come out and we can play it, that you want to choose things that will enhance your gameplay, enhance your character, and ultimately as a whole enhance the meta and stuff like that. And they also have these other little things that, you know, when you perform certain things, like you get you gain extra meter when you perform a whole bunch of attacks, or you know what I'm saying, once 10 seconds pass, you know what I'm saying, you get a speed up, or once you do this or do that, like in the Juggernaut deck select, if you build 1 bar of super meter, you do 15 points of additional damage. So these are things to think about, but we're gonna go through the rest of the deck select. You know what I'm saying? And again, like I said, I'll link you to Nerd Josh's post on the Twitter so that you can look at it for yourself. The Infinity one, I'm like, I saw in the gameplay footage is that once you use 7 bars of super meter, you get infinite super meter for the duration of the fight. Now, given what I've seen, because there was one video where somebody had used enough super bar to get infinite super meter. But when I think about it, as in the history of Street Fighter EX and Fighting Layer extendedly to a degree, is that there are characters who excel, and pun non-intended indeed, who excel at building super meters because of the moves that they have. And then flowing into going in, doing things like that build meters. So using 7 of them in a best 3 out of 5, you know what I'm saying? It's like, again, like I said, if that's how matches are going to be ultimately contested, my train of thought just went bleep. What was I saying? Like, well, and like in a span of a 3 out of 5, you will use 7 super bars. If you are being on the attacking up, you'll use 7 super bars like nothing. So if using super bar is your thing and you just want to super cancel till the cows come home, this might be the deck for you. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that also has a guard cancel if you block 30 attacks. And again, a lot of this stuff, and again, because it's like, see, again, and I say this every time I get on the mic, I love when I sit up here and I get to hear what it is that I'm saying and what it is that I'm thinking and let it run, because I see why a game like this will be contested 3 out of 5, because it flows into the Gogi system. It flows into just like that. And also, because something that was on my mind that I'm glad that I said this before we continue, is the Gogi system. If you guys remember from the original April Fool's trailer, it was those three little boxes in the corner. This is what that was. So, you know, just to put that out there because it was on my mind. And then it's like, and then everything else in the Infinity loadout is everything has you build. Once you build it up, you will end up increasing your super meter game once you attack your opponent on hit or block 10 times, or actually land 10 attacks. Your super meter game will go up by 90%, which means you will damn near be gaining twice the super meter once you activate that, which then flows into the point of the deck. We got aggro. Is that it's recommended for those for rush down, and it's like, and I really see that if this is a deck that is ultimately in the game, a lot of characters could really use this, because if you deal 40 points of damage in one combo, that's not really that hard. even given what I've currently seen of this game in the footage that I saw, dealing 40 points of damage ain't nothing. And it's that the more you attack, the more damage you do. So it's like, if you have it's going to be some characters as this game gets built up who will be able to not only do 40 points of damage in a combo, but the more that you do attacks and everything, the more damage you do. Character's going to be murking folks. It's going to be dumb. The other thing that was that I saw was an illusion is that if you take 300 points of damage, you get a free burst. I didn't see it displayed in any of the in the footage that I saw, but maybe there will be more footage later that actually shows off this special G.O.D. So, it'll be interesting to see. And it also has chip up, attack up, and another attack up. Is that you can do more chip damage. So it's like this is everything for making sure that your opponent feels the pain every time you touch him. The one that I fell in love with was Shinobi, because its main G.O.D. is once you avoid your opponent's attack for 6 seconds, after you dash for 10 frames, you are invincible for 90 frames. Game isn't 60 frames, so see we doing it. So it's at 1.5 seconds. So actually, I don't know if I really want to count frames versus seconds, because I just said 90 frames, because that is what 1.5 seconds is in frames. But I don't know if they mean frame time or they mean game time. And it's like, when given the footage, you stay invincible for an awful long time. Is that the way that people were using it was reminding me a lot of Dimitri, because it's like when you do that dash and you can do Demon Cradle or you can do backspin and things like that. I'm like I saw a little bit of footage and I saw a Garda player doing it, and I was like, yes, please, more of that. I appreciate that. Thank you. The rest of the deck is once you block 30 attacks, is that you can guard cancel in the supers or specials, which would be a great boon to somebody who's trying to sit up here and trying to escape. And is that it also has guard break, that once you perform your 4 heart attacks or whatever, whether they hit or they miss, is that your heart attacks become guard break. So that lets you put the pressure on while sitting up here trying to get away. And it also has a speed up and attack up as well. The final deck is the Miracle deck, and I quote, unlock all your skills at once with this dream deck. Now, is that if you get 3 levels of super meters, you activate Overload, and once you do that, it activates everything else. So you would have to A, build up 3 super meters. B, for 20 seconds, you'd have to refrain from using super meters. But given the 3 characters that you can play as in this game, all of them have meterless damage. Like meterless damage. It's like you could do what? A chain into an uppercut or something. Hokuto's Records, and I'm like, Garada is Garada. So it's not like this is insane. So I see Overload being an amazing G.O.D. to use like when the game comes out, because you can build your deck around that, where you can have dumb stuff that you would never activate. But building up 3 meters ain't nothing, and keeping it ain't nothing, because the main and important thing is that G.O.Ds go through rounds. So it's not like where like in anime fighters where once the round is over, everything is back to scratch. Nah. If you activate a G.O.D, it's yours. So having something like Overload is amazing, because if you can build that meter early, you can keep that meter. I'm not sitting up here saying get in a fight, throw a round. That would be crazy. However, to think about that in a way that understand that I can activate all my other G.O.D if I can maintain a 3 levels of super meter for 20 seconds. The thing is that you probably won't activate this in round 1. you probably won't be able to activate this round 1. Maybe the beginning of round 2, maybe. But that depends on the characters, because from what I've seen in the footage, Hokuto builds meter super fast. So a character like her could benefit from an overload deck that enhances her. And that's what I like about this, is that this was thought out very well and given even in the game's current state is well, and it isn't broken as hell, because I'm looking at this, there's nothing you could legitimately exploit. Is that because even though you can load yourself with all the Go-Gi in the world, you still have to fight and you still have to win. So it's not like this is going to be the balancing factor between characters now. No. The characters will be the balancing factor against characters. This is just an additional portion of the metagame that gives you some additional thought to think about how it is you choose to wield offense. And that I am indeed a fan of. Before we get out of here, one more thing in my uncle voice. In this continuation of making things easier for everybody, they have an additional thing where before you select your, after you select your characters. No, after you select your character. No, hold up. Actually, you know what? I'm finna put on a video and see, because I don't remember. You would think that I would remember this. You really think I would, but I'm just finna try to pop on one of these videos that I think has it, and trying to see whether or not I can find you activate input method select after you select a character. So I was right. That's just that. Blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, here the thing is that I've told the story about how I initially felt about the rush system in KOF. Is I understood why it existed, but I didn't understand why I was in KOF. I understood, and I've talked about this at length, I've understood the good it did for the Persona series. I understand how Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is trying to lower the bar enough so that people that watch the movies, they can aim at that because they know the hardcore gonna play it. When it comes to this, I don't mind it. And I'm saying this as one of the biggest fans in the world of what Arika does in the fighting game space. It makes sense. It makes sense to have this option. I'm like, here's a fun fact. It's something I was doing earlier this week as I was trying to get some shit together. I was playing Gundam Seed Destiny for the Game Boy Advance. That's the sequel to Mobile Suit Gundam Seed Battle Assault, right? You should always go get Gundam Seed Destiny because it's the better game because it has both games on the same cartridge. Hey thing. I played that game in technically easy operation mode because it is simply easier to do business. And I'm like, I don't shy away from that. I'm not gonna get on the mic and talk shit lie. It's just that I wrote a whole combo system around the easy operation because that game is what it is so much. It doesn't really need traditional controls to work. The game functions just fine on an even playing field when you use those controls. So playing them in a versus match, if you ever run into somebody who has Gundam Seed Destiny on the Game Boy Advance and want to fight your ass, I like this. Go after every man, Arika. Do your thing. Go after every man and release another Tetris the Grandmaster game. I'm like, I remember when they were talking about that. I'm like, I remember when they was talking about they was gonna release a part 4. I'm like, I still ain't played Ace on fucking 360 yet. Cause do you know how hard that is? Actually, you know what? Real quickly before we get out of here, I'm finna see if you can buy Tetris the Grandmaster digitally on Xbox. Because I want to know. Because I want to know. Let me see. Can I buy it? Let me see. Because I will probably have to go to, what? Okay, let me see. Cause I'm trying to think. Cause we taking. I think it's Xbox.com/JA or some shit. Let me see. Cause yeah, here we go. I'm gonna see if I can find Tetris the Grandmaster Ace because we ain't got nothing else to do. Cause I want to know if I can buy the game digitally. Because if I can, it's time to get some yen bucks. It's time to get some yen bucks. So while I'm pulling this up, a couple of things. Again, I would like to thank CPS_IV or however you pronounce your name, sir or ma'am. Thank you. Shout out to Nerd Josh for putting in his work. Shout out to Arika for putting in his work. And shout out to me for collecting all his work, talking about it so you can listen to me talking about this work so you can go watch it your damn self. So, now, see, this is why, and I mean it, this is why you should never let me have a live mic. This is exactly why. Because I'm going to do things like see if I can buy a game digitally for a system 2 generations ago. That's what I'm going to do because I feel it's probably smart. I can probably also guarantee you, and this is important as all hell, is it's probably not backwards compatible. I'm just going to assume that off the damn rip. What the hell is this? Okay. Okay, can I find a damn Tetris game? Jesus Christ. What if I just type in Tetris? Because I tried to use the katakana for it because I thought that would be smart. It wasn't smart at all. I'm serious, real talk. I thought that using the katakana would be smart. I was wrong. So we still sitting here, and I'm still trying to find whether or not a game is backwards compatible or not. And let me see. Do they have a link for it on this webpage? No, they do not. Let me see. Let me see. Tetris the Grandmaster Essa. I don't believe this is happening. I just right now, I sit here. I don't believe that this is happening. Okay, I'm going to try one more thing because I'm not going to hold y'all all day while I sit up here and try to find a video game that I could find on my own time. But see, at the same time, I have zero respect for your actual time. Nah, that's not true. You know I love y'all, right? Let me see. Hold up. I am going to try to find this because I want to know. Because, see, I want to know because I'm interested because I have never played Tetris the Grandmaster Ace. I've never played it. I've had a chance to play Tetris the Grandmaster 3 once. It was at a random arcade like years ago back in the day that I used to frequent in the loop, but I think that might have just been random happenstance, but yet and still. I am going to try to find this because okay. Alright. Let's see. They got Tetris Evolution. The game might be delisted for all I know. But because Tetris Evolution ain't here no more either because I know they had Tetris Evolution and it was another Tetris game or whatever that I don't see anymore. Oh yeah, because Tetris World, I think that was whatever. Is this these are Xbox games. I ain't gonna hold y'all no more. I'll find it myself because that is what you do. Let me see. So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all get out of here because you know what I'm saying. You came here to hear me talk about fighting the X-Layer, not try to find a damn video game. But this is how things happen, and it has happened. So this is what I'm gonna do for y'all. I'm gonna hook y'all up, right? This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna link y'all to all his work. I'm gonna link you to CPS_IV's YouTube page so you can watch all this fighting EA Slayer crack. I'm gonna link you to Nerd Josh's Twitter post. I'm gonna do that, and you know, I wasn't really waiting on seeing anything else. I'm like, Abigail's pretty much confirmed for Street Fighter 5. I'm hoping that they show the damn Trunks trailer this weekend for fucking Dragon Ball Fighter Z and whatever the hell they finna announce for Infinite, and you know, I will speak on that as is. I am interested in seeing Abigail. I'm gonna say that because I'm like, there are 50 billion characters you could put in Street Fighter, but Abigail? That's it. See, the answer to the question is the following. The answer you were looking for was Sodom. Sodom should have been in Street Fighter Cross Second with Rolento. That's how it should have been. It should have been Sodom and Rolento, and it should have been Ibuki and Makoto. That should have been the team in Street Fighter Cross Second. Just like there should have been a team with Jinpachi and fucking Goken, but you know, I'm just me, just somebody here. Look, it should have been Sodom. Hell, I would have took Damned over Abigail, but don't work at Capcom, and you know, maybe they gun shy. I don't know, because hey, Abigail wasn't in Final Fight Revenge, so they don't necessarily have that. But it is what it is. But we'll see, and I'm like, once I watch the Abigail trailer, man, and get some thoughts on it, man, I'm gonna be back on the mic. Look, I'm out of here. I'm finna go try to see if I can find Tetris the Grandmaster and try to find what the hell happened on all the damn Tetris games because of Ubisoft. Fuck you, motherfuckers. And I'm gonna do that. So, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. You know who it is. The one and the only. The triple, the G.O.D. And I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Triple the Guy Speaks On. And with that, please, Arika, make another attempt at the Grandmaster game.